One of the things the Labor Party put on the table at the last election was trying to increase the amount of subsidies for people to have solar on their roof, batteries at home. Now, Henry, to me, this seems like another version of something that, frankly, worked previously, which is when Tony Abbott was talking about things like direct action, right? You being able to essentially bring your power bills down by getting off the grid is a good idea. But, of course, as soon as you start to put free money on, here come the cowboys. How do you think this is going to go in the next couple of years?
Well, we've seen similar schemes rolled out in South Australia and Victoria, and they haven't really had the level of take-up that those governments were anticipating. The fear that I've got, Paul, is that ultimately when you go down the path with these schemes, you're ultimately taking away from those who can least afford it and giving it to those who actually can afford to put on a battery or a solar system within their home. So I've got concerns about the inequity of this. I look at the constituents of mine who are struggling to put food on the table, struggling to make ends meet, and I just worry about the costs that we're imposing on them in order to subsidise those who can probably afford to put on these sort of systems.
Yeah, what do you think here in terms? Because
look,
get yourself off the grid. Lots of people are doing it.
Well, it makes sense in certain circumstances. It makes sense if you've got a country place. You can have a solar, you can have battery, and when the power goes out, the battery kicks in, that sort of thing. Yeah. But dive into this program here, Paul. You're talking about $2.3 billion, on top of everything else. Here's the thing that struck me, because this article that was in the Australian about this, the company, there's these 5 different kinds of batteries that you can have, and you can sign up for it, and they'll manage the power, and maybe you get some money back, and it's very sort of whiz-bang and cool. But $2.3 billion to get a battery. Now, I looked at the companies that made these batteries, and almost all of them, guess where they make their batteries?
China.
That's correct. China.
Ding, ding.
And here's the thing, this is not, the Albanese government talks about the Future Made in Australia program, but it's giving all of this money to these Future Made in China programs, which is exactly what everything renewable, the solar, the batteries, and all of that is. I have an idea for a power system. It's revolutionary. You come home, you flick a switch, the lights go on, you pay a pretty reasonable price for it, and everything just works. We used to have that in this country. We used to have it.
Yeah. Take me back to this magical
time, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, thankfully, our time machine will not be solar-powered. We've got a diesel generator hooked up to it, so I'll see you after the show.